I think it was an amazing. To be honest, it was amazing to be there, and I thought it was quite interesting that the City players and Mancini had the good grace to come out afterwards and say, "Listen, we're football people," and that was a magnificent goal.
Yeah, I liked it when he said that when a player like that scores, you have to clap. And that just about summed it up. You know, even he was saying, "Okay, I've seen something special today."
The funny thing was, he got voted man of the match, and he actually had a pretty poor match.
Which he admitted.
He admitted. I mean, Vincent Kompany had been terrific against Rooney, but that's why you talk about, is he worth £200,000 a week? But a goal like that, which not only settles the game, but you could argue could settle the season, you know, then he's worth that money.
Well, you were also there, Martin. That's in the framework of the season, huge significance?
I think so, because I think that moment will come to define this season. I think United will go on to win the league, and that one image will be the one that will be used to define the entire season. It will be remembered for that, because it was a point when, let's be fair, City were more likely winners at that point in the game.
Yep.
Certainly it looked as if United were going to drop points again. It would have been minimum 5 points dropped out of 6 after they lost to Wolves, with Arsenal chance to close the gap, which they won their game. It would have looked a very different title race. Suddenly you feel that it will change Rooney. You think that might be the final unblocking of the mental shackles that appear to have held him back. He will maybe go and find his form. I think for the good of England, we need him to find his form as well. It'd be good for him personally. I think United will win the league, and that was it. That changed everything.
Do you believe City, or do you believe Mancini when he says we can't catch United now?
I think it's very difficult now. They're 8 behind. They played a game more. They'd have to win every single game to get to 81 points, and I think 83 is probably required. So I just don't see them as being champion. What you do have now, with Spurs winning last night, particularly had Liverpool beaten Wigan, which I think we all thought they would have done, you would have ended up then with 4 for 2 places, because it's getting very tight. You know, Chelsea are 5th currently. Spurs are next up, are playing Blackpool away, so they could actually be above City before City play again. It's looking really, really tight there. What I think is interesting that it's very different. It's interesting.
But what Manchester City are about this season is just maybe a trophy and a cup and finishing in the Champions League positions, because Manchester City.
You've had your briefing again, haven't you?
No, Manchester City are all about developing gradually. You know, Ferguson didn't win the title overnight.
That's nonsense.
But did you really think that Manchester City were going to win the title this season?
I think they got a chance when you spend money like that. Yeah. I really do.
And had they won yesterday, they'd have been genuinely
so I think you then think it's going to be a disappointment for Manchester City if they finish up this season having had a good run in the cup and also get a Champions League position?
I think it'll be a disappointment for some of the players. I think some of the players who've joined Manchester City expect to be challenging for the title. I think the likes of Yaya Toure, who our lad Steve Howard did an interview with for Saturday's paper, he was saying they challenge for the title. That's why he joined. He doesn't come to be in 4th place. He comes to fight for the title.
And I think but that's fantastic, because you want players like that. You want ambitious players. But in the cold light of day, on the 1st of June, when you look back at the season, and Manchester City have finished in the Champions League positions, that is a development.
Do you think they're going to now?
Do you know that they're going to?
Well, no one knows they're going to. I think they've got a very good chance of it.
And
if they've got players there who are ambitious and want to win things, I think that should be encouraged.
But what if they don't? What if?
I don't think yesterday was the darkest day in Manchester City's history.
I thought they played very well. I thought they deserved to win the game. But what happens if Spurs go on a bit of a run? It comes down to City versus Chelsea for 4th, which is not inconceivable at the moment. If one of those misses out, that is
catastrophic financially.
Absolute nightmare.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter financially for City, does it?
No, that's a
but it does, because any chance they've got of getting close to financial fair play requires on.
They're not going to follow financial fair play. I'm telling you, a lot of these clubs
they're going to look for a legal
They'll find ways out. You think financial fair play is going to be properly implemented? I don't think so.
Can you imagine a Champions League without Barcelona, Real Madrid?
Exactly.
Well, they've got the massive TV deals. They're safe.
Well, it's not.
Barcelona and Real Madrid, because their TV income is so huge.
They're fine.
Right. Well, then the legal challenge will be it's not fair play in that different clubs are assessed in different ways. So I don't think we're actually going to be ever resolve that problem.
Isn't this typical? We start talking about a magnificent moment of sport and end up arguing about money.
Yeah.
Typical football.
It's worth £200,000 a week.
Absolutely.
Just on that, your debate about the top 4, Liverpool just edging towards it.
I thought
they have huge,
really
significant games.
They do. I mean, they've got to play United at home. They've got to go to Arsenal. They've got Spurs to come to them. They've
City
got
at home. They play as well.
Had they won yesterday, which they should have done, I mean, they're playing Wigan. They would have been within 3 points of Chelsea on real momentum with 5 wins on the spin, and I think that sort of set them back at a point where they could have really, because also they play the next league week when Chelsea and Spurs don't, because they play at West Ham on the Sunday and Arsenal don't. So they could potentially be level on points. Or, with
Here are
Chelsea.
tonight's football results.
So that was a real blow, because they were getting right back into the mix. So I thought they were really, really organised, fantastically well organised at Chelsea last week. They were terrific.
There's an extra element to Liverpool's league season here, in that Manchester United getting the 19th title, which would obviously break the record that they share with Liverpool, last one under Kenny Dalglish. So there's that very interesting subplot there.
We speak a lot, Henry, about the mental toughness of United, this resilience that they can pluck something special out, as we saw yesterday. And Mancini referred to that, didn't he? We haven't got that toughness yet of United.
He was unfortunate, because arguably his most resilient player, physically and mentally, is De Jong, who wasn't fit enough. And he's terrific when he's in the central midfield. Whatever the arguments about the bad nature of some of his tackles, he does give them that steal in the middle. But they have got good players there. This is a better squad than last season.
But have they got the toughness yet or not of United?
No, because Manchester United have incredible toughness. I mean, the surprise with Rooney yesterday, it wasn't in the last minute. I mean, they actually have sort of 14 minutes.
Do they excite you, though, Manchester City? Do they excite you as a team?
Not particularly. I think
when
Tevez has got the ball, when David Silva's got the ball, yes, they excite me. When Adam Johnson's fit and he starts and he trusts him, I think he's exciting. Zeko clearly is going to take a bit of time.
Who was this right back they played yesterday? I've not seen him for 3 years.
He
was terrific.
Yeah.
He was, and also at the other end, Smalling. That was a really, really good. But I thought that's good to see for England, that two players. I mean, Richards has been out of the England frame for 3 years. He came back into the squad for France, but he's really been disappeared off the radar. Purposeful, powerful, surging,
forward,
played really well, solid, organised defensively.
Do you not
that
think
was great.
Manchester City might as well go for it a little bit and be more adventurous? When it looks like they could miss out on fourth anyway, to me, the more cautious approach isn't necessarily doing them any favours. They've got enough good players to expand their game a bit.
But when we got the team sheets yesterday, we thought, well, both were being cautious. Because Berbatov was on the bench and Zeko on the bench, so it wasn't completely... No, I agree with you. And I went to see Mancini recently to do a piece for last Saturday's paper, and he said, yes, he will play all four attacking players when they're fit. Zeko, Silva, Tevez, and who's the other one?
Johnson.
And Johnson. Mm-hmm. Which would be quite a...
That's not next season, is it?
That would be.
No, sorry, Balotelli, not Johnson. Balotelli. So that would almost be 4-2-4.
So where's Johnson fit? So you can't play five then, really?
No.
Johnson on the bench? You don't want Johnson on the bench.
But there was a quote in that piece you did with Mancini which was very significant, when he said players must love football. When he was talking about Johnson, I think, was one of them, and somebody else, I can't remember, talking about
Balotelli.
Not being swayed away from it. They have to concentrate only on...
But he was very honest. I mean, he said when he was sort of 16 and breaking into football for the first time, he lost, as he said it, 3 to 4 years because he was focused on things outside the game. I mean, this is a familiar morality tale with young players, and the light went on for him when he was 20, and then he had this sort of golden decade. So no, I mean, young players. I mean, Johnson has got the ability. I can see him, being a regular for England if he focuses. And I mean, as Mancini says, it's all about work. And the top players work hard, whether it's Tevez.
Yes, Tevez's work rate is amazing. His movement off the ball is incredible. But so, the last word on this: can United be caught? And is it only Arsenal that can catch them?
I would think it's unlikely that United be caught. They've got more resilience probably than Arsenal. Arsenal are on a good run, but we've seen Arsenal on a run like this before, and then you get to March.
Arsenal have got to win that game against United
April,
at home,
and it just goes. It falls away from them, and we've seen a few seasons like this. So I can see that happening again.
If Arsenal were to get knocked out by Barcelona, which we assume they probably will, it does clear their way a little bit, because United are going to go all the way through in the...
United got Chelsea to play twice, haven't they?
Chelsea to play